my battery's been confiscated. So that could have happened to me, but I realized just before I was going on the flight that I was not allowed to bring such a large battery on the flight. If you want to save a whole bunch of money, instead of buying an e-bike Brompton, you can buy a conversion kit and convert your bike to an e-bike. So as I was putting the e-bike conversion kit on my bike, I realized, yes, there are pros and cons to this kit. I'm having trouble. There's something wrong. After I complete this, I will bring it by the bike shop to make sure that I've done it properly.
I took this out because that's the original Brompton washer. See, you had it still underneath here. Okay. I think that's what the issue was.
Oh my God, it's heavy. The downside of this whole thing is that it's going to add some extra weight to your bike. Yeah, it's a big difference. Oof, this is super light and this is heavy. I didn't realize, but the battery is larger than I thought, but I was hoping to hide it so nobody would know I'm going electric. Biggest disappointment that I had was I was not able to bring the conversion kit with the battery on a plane. I can bring the Brompton, but I cannot bring the battery because it's a forbidden battery to bring on a plane. The batteries exceeding 160 watts are forbidden, and this battery is 180 watts. You can't bring the bike with the battery on a plane. I did email them and ask them if they made smaller batteries, and they said they do make a battery and it's called the air battery, and that's about 98 watt, and that is okay to bring on a plane, but they don't sell it individually. So you have to buy the entire kit to purchase the air battery. That for me is very frustrating because I've already purchased my Swytch kit.
When you have the battery clamped on here, there are lights on it that never turn off. If you have it off, it stays on. I'm just wary of that. Yeah. Because it means that the battery is not sleeping. I'm just worried about battery life and safety because the battery is technically kind of active. If I'm not using the Brompton, to just take the battery off.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. There is not a lot of real estate on your handlebars once you've added the display, once you've added the battery. Other thing you might run into is that you might have to adjust the pedal sensor. I do check it periodically to make sure it's secure and clean. If you're riding in mud, it could cake up on the sensor and it might throw the sensor alignment off. I do carry with me the hex tool that they provided in the conversion kit, just in case I need to adjust the pedal sensor. There are 5 levels of assist. If you're about to approach a hill on power level 1, or if you're at a dead stop, there's not enough power to really launch you. Big hill coming up. We're gonna crank it up to 4, and it's going super nice. Yep, no effort at all to get up this hill. I read in some of the reviews that the handlebar wires get caught in the battery holder. If you look at the Swytch website, it has you putting the battery on the outside of the bike, but I put the battery on the inside of the bike, and that avoids any wires getting caught up. And also, your folding bike can close much more easily. The zip ties they supplied did not go around this completely. They were too short.
I've got zip ties. Let's see what we can do. That is freaking sweet.
The problem with the Swytch kit is you can't use a lighting kit on your Brompton. There's no port. In the wiring harness are connectors so that you can put your existing headlight on there.
The kit doesn't have a dedicated connector for the lights, but it is possible to add a light system to a Swytch E-bike conversion kit. You would have to make some modifications and find a compatible light. Small things can go wrong. The support is far from perfect. First, the support gets back to you through AI, and eventually a real person corresponds with you only through email. So when you're ordering a Swytch conversion kit, you have to know a bit more about your bike. You need to know the wheel size, for instance, because Swytch offers different size kits. Then you have the big choice of what battery size you want. You have to know if your bike has disc or rim brakes and the width of your fork dropout. Because on another bike that I was trying to convert, it did not have an open fork. What I ended up doing, going to the bike shop, and they are going to replace the fork on the bike. It will now convert with the Swytch conversion kit. This does help you learn a little more about your bike. The next issue is timing. You typically cannot buy a Swytch kit from standing inventory, and they won't ship it within a few days. You have to get on an email list, and you have to be invited to purchase the kit. So the reason why Swytch batches the pre-orders together and then ships them in a broad frame time. If you pre-order, it's approximately around $600. That's for the folding conversion kit. They do say it could take up to 3 months to deliver. Now you can do a speedier delivery, but I think it's double the price. So a normal Brompton is about $1,150 to $1,650, and the electric one can run up to $3,800 to $4,700. So you can see that there is a big difference in cost. It is still cheaper with the Swytch conversion kit. Despite all the cons, I still think it is a cheaper alternative to getting an e-bike. The end result is typically a fun upgrade and a great introduction to the e-bike life. So, hope to see you riding on your new e-bike.
Either way, I love my bicycle. It's the Wonder Woman. Pedals are pushing like thunder. The cushion that's under is adjusted perfect. You can trust they work it. I climb the hills and fly with thrills. It might be warm, it might be chilled.